So welcome to another episode of the Rugby League Outsiders. My name's Craig.
And my name's Karl.
And we've got two incredible guests from the Worcester Rebels with us today. We've got Matthew Robinson and also Alex Paynter, who's going to dive into their story right now. Worcester Rebels has been on our radar for at least 18 months now, as you've had like a bit of a re-emergence. When we found out you was back in the league, it was just incredible news. Just talk me through like a little bit of the background of like, and then to this point right now.
Should we take you to the exact day?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah, we were. I can't remember who Midlands Hurricanes were playing.
Cornwall,
that was it. Yeah, because I met Earl Crabtree, didn't I? Nearly wet myself.
First game of season, that wasn't it?
Yeah. So me and Alex have been best friends for a good few years now, but. It was Alex's idea to go to the Midlands Hurricanes Cornwall game, and I'd started playing at Worcester Rugby Club Union wise by that point, and we just kind of like, we were watching Midlands and Cornwall, and we thought to ourselves, God, we'd love to play a bit of rugby league this summer. You know, watching the pros obviously inspiring you, and I can't remember the score of the game, but it was a really good game, and I kind of just whispered to Alex, what if we started a rugby team? And then Alex was like, "Well, funny you should say that. I've got a load of like promo stuff and marketing stuff."
Yeah. Well, it's stuff we had left over from Jaguars that we could just use again, change the logo. Yeah. So the thing about Jags, we had. So before Rebels...
Going into a bit of a detail about what Worcester Jaguars were for people who don't know, because I don't know as well.
Circa, let's say 2019, 2018, Worcester... So Worcester's not had a rugby league team for decades, as far as I know. They used to be Worcester Saints, maybe, a very long time ago.
Yeah,
way before my time.
Spafford was involved in that, I think.
And then Worcester Jaguars came along with, an idea that rugby league in Worcester would come again, and... it attracted loads of players. Yeah, at one point we had about 45 players registered.
Yeah.
So when the idea of Rebels came along, it wasn't like we were starting from scratch. We're just a brand new entity with an existing player pool. Yeah, it was tough at first, wanting to convince people it wasn't a shit show, because there were elements of Jags that was a shit show.
Yeah.
But yeah, once we persuaded them, and once they'd seen the kit and been training, it was all right.
Yeah, the hardest thing as well was just venues. Unfortunately, Jags didn't have the greatest reputation with venues. So, last year we were at Worcester. We had to do a lot of convincing. We were just there to play rugby league. We weren't going to take over the club, that kind of malarkey.
Yeah, we weren't going to be in Super League in 10 years' time.
Yeah.
Was that the dream of the Jaguars?
It was the dream of the Jags. Semi-pro in 5, Super League in 10.
Oh, wow, okay.
And then same. Was it me and you that went to Wich in November? And the first promise we had to make was that we could actually pay what we were signing.
Pay what we signed, yeah.
So we've had to pay up front at Wich just to be there, just to have a relationship with them. Yeah. So that was...
We had to build a lot of bridges again, didn't we?
Yeah.
I can't fault anyone who starts a rugby league team, especially south of Sheffield.
Yeah.
It's tough, but a lot of people we went to for help didn't want to know, because the name was tarnished, the sport was tarnished, and there's a lot of good players that haven't come back because they've been dealt a rough hand. I've got promised the world.
There's so many questions that are just falling out of this.
Yeah.
This is incredible. I hope you've got a bit of time, because this is awesome. Just out of interest, did the word rebels, did that work against you at all, or did it go pretty much unnoticed?
I think we thought it worked. It worked well because we wanted to show that it was kind of like we were rebelling against the reputation of rugby league in Worcester.
Yeah.
The Worcester Jaguars did a lot of great things, like the academy stuff they did there. I think they ended up playing against Scotland and stuff like that. Like they did, some of the stuff that Worcester Jaguars managed to do was awesome, but obviously on the flip side, some of it,
the way it was handled wasn't great.
They didn't just burn bridges; they blew them up.
Yeah.
So for me coming in, kind of, I was 25 at the time, just your stereotypical northern lad, not the brightest bloke. I had to learn diplomacy and negotiation very quickly with people, and just share that Worcester Rebels are called Worcester Rebels because we're rebelling against the reputation. We want to show you that rugby league can work with rugby union.
Absolutely, yeah. But we wanted our own identity as well. It is a brand new club for Worcester, and
absolutely.
So ditch the colours, ditch the name, start fresh, Rebels, and I don't know, just stuck, didn't it? And also, one of my biggest pet peeves is when someone calls themselves like the Sharks. You know, there's already Sharks out there, aren't there? There aren't too many Rebels in rugby league, so it gives us our identity.
Yeah, because one thing we've done as well is with our playing kit, we provide obviously a top and shorts. But one thing we did kind of, it was your idea, is that we all wear different socks.
Yeah. Where you come from. So your community club, your junior club, your university, football club, whatever.
So when I was younger, I was lucky to play for Milford for a cup of tea, and I still had my socks. So I managed, there was one game I wore my Milford socks. Next game I wore my Errol socks when I played for Errol's Pigeons. Next game I wore my Worcester socks.
So in that sense, we were rebellious against norms, And at one point we had socks from all over the world, didn't we? You went on tour to Switzerland, and some lads had Swiss socks on.
So you're almost
Welsh,
like
the barbarians.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to say. Barbarians.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, but Worcester, nonetheless.
Yeah. I'm just thinking, like, when Karl and I started setting up the Midlands Nines, it's hard to go into a rugby union organisation and try and peddle rugby league. There's a lot of bureaucracy there. Some clubs out and out do not want rugby league. So it's hard enough without having that tarnished name. So what are some of the things that you learn? If someone was saying to you, look, I'm going to do this, we've got a little bit of a battle on our hands, what do you think are some of the lessons?
I think the lucky thing was, unfortunately, Paynter's allergic to rugby league. Right. Rugby union, sorry. But I'm not. I actually enjoy playing rugby union. The analogy I use to my wife is rugby union feels like strongman, whilst rugby league's CrossFit. Yeah. They're two different things, and I get two different things out of them. Yeah. And I think I'm not saying that was an influence, but I think when people actually naturally meet me and think,
Northerner, rugby league, you're not the enemy.
Yeah, I'm not the enemy. I actually enjoy rugby union. Whilst in the past, people that have come in with rugby league clubs in Worcester and shit on union and unions.
It was never on our agenda. Well, at all, and it never would be. I think my biggest advice would be don't promise the world. Yeah. But what you do it well. Yeah. We've done training sessions with 25 people, training sessions with 6 people. Yeah. It's the same thing every week. You're going to turn up, you're going to become a better rugby league player, and people appreciate that, and they probably go back better rugby union players.
And the one thing I've noticed being in the Midlands chairman's group with you, Karl, and all the others is the amount of people that do play union and have that good relationship with union. You can see them obviously you're one of the biggest clubs in the area, it's Telford, and it's amazing to see your amazing relationship with the union community. But even newer clubs like Quantums, they've got a great relationship with Rugeley. Yeah. Speaking with George at Deep in Ducks, they've got a great relationship with Deep in.
Yeah, and we've got one with Droitwich.
Yeah, and we've kind of like copied yous in a way. We, if it works, it works. Follow their footsteps, and that's what we've done. We've really tried our best to get a good relationship with Droitwich, and it's not just about hosting us. We've tried doing things, like getting socials there. We're trying to do something for the Challenge Cup final, aren't we? We're roasting it. We're doing one of them posh sit-down dinners at end of season. Yeah. I'm dead against it, obviously. but all the
only found out what Knife and Fork was the other week, didn't you?
Yeah, but all the other lads are up for it. We're having a proper awards night there. We're trying to treat Droitwich as if it says Worcester Rebels above the door, not Droitwich, if that makes sense.
But also, we're trying to treat rugby league with respect. You guys know as much as we do. There's some people in the sport who don't. My favourite page on Twitter is amateur rugby league, and it's a joke, isn't it?
Mate, it's great.
It's great, but I almost wish it didn't exist. And I'd be a happy man when that page is done and dusted, because we just want to do things properly, don't we? And our social media, we try and do it properly.
But that's all levels of the sport, unfortunately.
It is from the very top.
From the top,
and that's the scary thing.
Yeah, and
I see Leon there every other week, and I'm thinking you're a Super League club. What are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, I think some of the professional clubs could actually learn a thing or two from well-run community clubs. Actually, I think you've absolutely hit the nail on the head there.
But the thing is, strip Super League back. What's Super League made up of? People who were once at community clubs. So how are they getting it wrong? Yeah, I don't know. It's baffling, isn't it?
It's the old northern mentality, unfortunately.
Big up the London Broncos.
Yeah. So you're talking about like doing the basics well. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that ooze when you did your kit reveal, I looked at it. I was like, it was quite on point, wasn't it? Because we'd done a lot of kit reviews of like the Championship and the Super League, and I was like,
Thanks for your score, by the way.
Yeah, that's a great score. That's a great shirt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, is that an example of
Yeah, just
doing stuff well?
We're an amateur club, we're a community club. But if I don't know, let's use the example: someone with a young lad, 16-year-old lad's walking past as we're playing. If your kit looks good, it's a selling point, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, and one of the things I hate, you get these jerseys and the sponsor's not the same colour as the kit, and it's just stuck on stickers, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we made sure.
Lee Leopards.
Yeah, so I won't name him again. But no, the guy who sponsors us, he plays for us as well. And I said, Ash, your logo's got a white background. Do you mind if I send it off to a mate who can turn it into a black background? You can only ask, can't you?
Yeah.
And he went, yeah, absolutely, mate. Don't bother me. And now the kit looks better. You know, it's simple stuff.
So if we was to kind of we talk about this like pool of players that you've got perhaps from the Jags days and all that kind of stuff. So where are you kind of looking to recruit from it? Do you know what I mean? Where are you?
So one of my bright ideas this year was I got a bit nervous about the group chat being a bit quiet in January. So I started doing votes in the chat. So I'd pick a Challenge Cup game. And then for the earlier rounds, for the lads that didn't... So I think the first game we chose was West Bowling Alton.
Yeah.
So I said West Bowling, Bradford, just been promoted to the Premier.
Yeah.
Alton from Leeds. They finished 4th. Close games last year. And everyone was entitled to a vote. Who do you think would win? And then we did a raffle afterwards. So if us 4 all voted West Bowling, who won in the end, we'd get entered into a
Spin a wheel kind of
thing.
Yeah.
And if it landed on your name, you got free stash for 20 quid. Pick what you want from the club shop. And then what I realised was we had players. So there's one lad who plays at Kidderminster, Harry Mayo, and I thought to myself, well, if I buy him a shirt and he starts wearing Worcester Rebels at Kidderminster, that will spread. And then I did the same for the Droitwich captain as well, bought him a shirt, and I thought, well, if I can put one on Horrocks, who better than to move into their venue and give it to their biggest dog, their club captain.
Exactly.
I've just moved to Malvern, so all I ever do now is wear my Worcester Rebels stash there. And we've managed to find one of Alex's old gems from his, what's his name, Jonesy, from your...
from the academy days.
Yeah, that's it, from the academy
Jonesy,
days. So now we've got stash at Malvern, Worcester, Droitwich and Kidderminster. And then we're trying to find out where else we can squeeze in, because we've not touched Evesham, we've not touched Pershaw. North of Worcestershire, there's obviously Bromsgrove, but obviously we're also careful that we don't want to get too close to Spafford's patch. You know, be respectful of boundaries. That
they're our nearest and dearest, aren't they? And without them, we've got to travel over an hour for a game.
We wouldn't have even played our first Rugby League game without them last year. So we are.
Credit to them. They were good.
I think that Kidderminster is probably going to be our northern barrier of. Let's leave the rest to Spafford.
And then it's a good idea. It just gets visibility out there. And a lot of the players who were reluctant to come back at first, they're now seeing boys they play Union with in Jag stuff. It takes a question, doesn't it? What's Jags like? What's Rebels like?
And for the top of the game as well, the amount of like we've got an NRL tipping group now where there's 8 of us in a competition predicting NRL results. We've got lads watching Super League now. And we haven't even started a training session yet. So we're hoping, obviously, touch wood, it does turn out that way, that all this interest from January onwards about, you know, the raffles, watching the pros, it'll kind of result in filters down into our training and match days.
Well, it becomes a campaign, doesn't it? Instead of it just being like, what I've noticed in the community game, especially around here, is nothing really happens until like now. And then suddenly everyone's scratching around for sponsors and everyone's scratching around for players and everyone's, you know, like, and Union not quite wrapped up yet. So it sounds like what you've done there, you've kind of sowed some seeds early. And what you've got now is you've got a campaign, something that Karl does really well with his social stuff. In the run up to the season, you then make it exciting.
Exactly.
You know,
we did. And you're building a culture, aren't you?
Exactly.
You're building a culture amongst the club before you've even touched the ball. Really.
Yeah, just because you're not training or not playing with us doesn't mean that you don't have to speak to us.
Exactly. And we put ourselves in the players' shoes, didn't we? We did 5 big announcements over like 5 weeks. And we said, what are the players probably thinking of? When does Rugby League start again? Who are we playing? What have we got a new kit? So we just did training date, big announcement, left it for a week, you know, digest that. Fixtures, big announcement, left it for a week. So before you know, you're in the new year, everyone knows who they're playing, know where we're training, And it's like, I haven't got to wonder anymore.
And
I know it's coming. It's happening.
Some of my club, like especially when we found out we were entering your tournament, we found out in about February time. I have a mate who, Sam Ames, who's a new dad now. He made sure he booked off weekend with wife, so then he can come and play the nines.
Yeah.
And we found, having a fixture list in place, the amount of people that have told me, I've booked that weekend off to make sure I can play and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Giving them that much notice, I'm hoping is going to, is resulting in making sure the player pool's bigger, because at home we did well last year. I think we fielded 20 players both home games, but away.
Yeah,
11, 12,
well, you wouldn't nickname us the Gypsies, let's put it like that.
Yeah, I mean, we went to a high performance seminar last week. It was really insightful. One of the big takeaways I took away was the fact that if you haven't got trust, people talk in a different way, they act in a different way. As soon as you've got trust, then they start to act in a different way. It sounds to me you've spent sort of since last year building trust with your players.
So we had to. We would have done it anyway, but
I think
what Jags did.
Once we
had to.
Once we kind of made me chairman, I looked at my age and I thought, bloody hell, I'm 25, going on 26. I'm going to have to do something here to make sure that people are going to come on board, and I'm not just talk. So what we did was, Paynter's obviously vice chairman, and he was head coach, but we built a good committee team. So we've got Thomas Lawley, who is he's our secretary, but he's our social media guy.
Yeah.
So him and Paynter do all the fancy kind of crap that I couldn't do. We've got Mids, who is he's one of our main sponsors as well.
Club captain.
Yeah, MMS clothing.
He's got business acumen as well.
Cleaning, not clothing. So he's amazing. And then we've got Sean Roberts, Sam Buckford, my little brother.
Who've got rugby league backgrounds.
Yeah, have rugby league backgrounds, and they kind of know if it smells like shit, it's going to be shit. So they're a good people to have on board. And then,
but everything goes to a vote, doesn't it?
Yeah,
and I think that's one of our strengths.
Yeah,
is we don't make a decision without the committee looking at it and going.
And I kind of wrote that into the constitution that I can't just make a decision. No. Like for example, on the way here, we were talking about how Steedon have got a shortage of balls. So we need to make an order tomorrow, probably. I've said though, I'll have to put it in the chat for the thing. Yeah. Another one on the committee is my wife. If anyone can control me, it's my wife. And she's been able to help me settle down in a couple of places. When I've been a bit passionate and wanted something, she's kind of like helped me be like, Matt, just calm down.
But it just stops us making rash decisions. And the saying is you sleep on it, don't you?
Yeah.
But what's better than sleeping on it? Putting it to your mates.
And another thing we did as well is we've got Craig Brown on board. So I can't remember what his position is at Droitwich, but he's
high up.
Basically, nothing goes past him at Droitwich.
So we've put him on the committee.
Yeah, he's an advisor to the committee, gives us advice what we should do. He was one of the people that advised about giving kits to different people about in the different clubs to make sure that you've got a brand presence.
Yeah. But then there's transparency, isn't there? He doesn't think we're in a group chat without him saying, should we sell season tickets?
Should we be our Droitwich?
Yeah. Should we get entrance music? He sees it all, so we can't. Not that we would, but we wouldn't try and get it.
And likewise, he's helped us. Like he lets us host our committee meetings at Droitwich now.
Yeah.
Just little things like that. And he's also he's also opening the clubhouse for us afterwards on a Wednesday. So they've got a pool table. Just for us to help build that camaraderie, because last year we didn't have that access to a clubhouse after training.
Become a club then, don't you? Team.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds
that's
like
the whole point. There's a lot of teams, but clubs need to start developing and building.
So what have you got lined up this year then that you're looking forward to? Like who you're playing? When does the season kick off?
Start with the nines, don't we?
Yeah, we're absolutely buzzing for the nines.
Can't wait.
Obviously, you lads have done an amazing job hyping that up.
It hasn't happened yet.
Well, we got a squad of 16 coming, I think, 15 or 16, so that's good.
Well, we've got 12 definites, and then, as always with rugby, you've got 8 or 9 people that are sat on the fence and probably won't make a decision till week.
I was telling Matty about the Nines World Cup. He didn't know it happened. Do you remember that?
Oh, right, yeah.
I was telling because I'm involved with Wales Rugby League. I do a bit of their eligibility work, and we had Reed and Grace on the wing. And I said, just kick on too, and just just let someone run.
Because some of the lads that are playing the nines were as much as we train on a Wednesday, they wanted to do Saturday extras.
Yeah.
Just to learn what nines is, and I was like, I don't mind bringing down a tactics board and doing some attacking shadow play with you, but Also, I'll probably be researching nines this week now from 2019.
That's a bit of a
That's serious,
nice little tip to us, really, as well, that we've created something else. That's
it's good.
Oh, yeah.
People in.
Also, nines is entertaining. Isn't it?
Oh, of course
It's
it is,
such
yeah.
an undersold element of our sport. You know, a short-sided game, quick, fast.
But it wasn't a committee member that suggested the Saturday extras either. So kudos to you guys. You've helped us there a bit.
Yeah.
You know, just adding that little bit of spice to our curry, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then on top of the nines, we've got 7 games this year, which we are very, very excited for, but very nervous because as we mentioned before, home games, you know, we could fence off people, but away games.
Tough. But we start with 3 home games, don't we?
Yeah, we start with 3 home games, and hopefully the drug's in the system then, and they're addicted by the time we're at away games, and we're playing our good friends at Staffordshire Quantums again and New Ravens.
Yeah,
we've got Leamington.
Yeah, we're going to make new friends with Leamington, and then we're hosting Deep in Ducks with a one-off game. Yeah. With the promise that we're going to make sure that we buy a coach next year, and buy a coach, but isn't hire a coach. Yeah. So we can have a Jolly Boys outing next year down to them lads, and we're dead excited because obviously Leamington Royals, they've got good pedigree in the area, aren't they? And then we're Deep in Ducks, we're helping a new team out by giving them a game. So
they're in our shoes, aren't they? Last year, so. But
we're dead excited with you know, including the nines. We've got 8 games this year, which is completely double to what we did last year, and
But we think we're ready. You know, it's not going to be a perfect season, but we think we've grown.
Fingers crossed.
And it's probably the suitable kind of passage for this season. So
it sounds incredible. Just listening to you guys, you speak with so much passion, and you sound like you've got so much structure behind the club. I want to rewind a little bit further, if you don't mind. Obviously,
why not?
2 completely different accents here. Before Worcester, give me a bit of an insight into your rugby league background and how you got to.
So I'm from a football mad family, really. I had a cousin that played semi-professionally at Halifax, Anthony, and then
Halifax Town.
Yeah, Halifax Town. Yeah, he was a hell of a baller, but just for whatever reason didn't work out. And then I had a cousin Connor who he was Yorkshire champion boxer. So obviously I've always been a big lad. So I got to about 11, 12. Football wasn't quite working out because I was I wasn't very graceful at centre back, and I ended up going down to my local team called Errol's Pigeons, a bit named after the pigeon.
Pigeons.
Yeah, there was a pigeon club in Errol's, and then that's how they found their name. And I was like a drug. Went down to the first session. My coach Rich showed me how to tackle, showed me how to carry ball, and I was playing a year above myself. I was just hooked.
Yeah.
So then from there, played there for a few years, and then in between that, I got to play for East Leeds for a season, which was a privilege, really good club. Mentioned earlier that I played for Milford for a cup of tea in 2013. That was brilliant. And then through Errol's, I got signed at Sheffield for a couple of years as well. So, yeah.
So how long did you play for the Eagles then?
I felt 2012-13 time-ish.
Yeah. First team or?
Oh, bloody hell no.
Academy?
Scholarship, under 15s.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not that old.
You played with some good boys though. Corey Aston, was it? Your year?
No, a bit older than me. No, there were some good boys, and it was a good time at Sheffield. But most of my career was spent at Errol's. Played for them 2009, 2009 to about 2014 before I moved down south.
And the big question: how did you end up in the Midlands then?
So I saw that the Old Golds were doing like a uni team at Rugby League, so I thought, that's a good way of getting out of Leeds, because I just, as you do, you rebel, don't you, when you're getting a bit older. You think, oh God, that old Oasis song, half the world away. Gloucester felt half the world away. I got to Gloucester, never ended up trialling for Old Golds, ended up playing lacrosse for a couple of years, and then met my missus on Tinder, who's now my wife. God bless her, don't know why she decided to do that, but and I ended up in Worcester, and then that's how I tried Rugby Union, and obviously got involved in Jags and stuff like that.
Can I just ask before we come to you, Alex, what aspects of lacrosse carry over to rugby league? Because lacrosse is something I don't know anything about, but I am actually intrigued about. It's violent, isn't it?
Yeah, I think bravery, really. You've got to be a bit of a mad bastard to play rugby league, haven't you? Who looks at rugby league of just 100 kg people giving 10 giving someone that's 100 kg 10 metres head start to run into you, and it's a bit like lacrosse, you know. Who looks at lacrosse and thinks, oh, he's got a stick and he's going to beat the shit out of me, let's go and play it. And then on top of the lacrosse stick...
Sounds like a Saturday night in the Hills.
Yeah, basically.
That's why you left.
Not only do you have the stick in lacrosse, you've got a ball that's like a brick. So yeah, I think that's kind of why I love lacrosse so much. You were on the edge. It was an adrenaline rush, which is what I sell to people with rugby league.
Yeah.
You know, you might not like it watching it on the telly, but playing it is so different.
Yeah.
Sounds fucking less violent than lacrosse anyway.
Alex, what about you?
Yeah, so Matty earlier said I'm allergic to rugby union. I'm not. I grew up in a rugby union family. I grew up in Cardiff. And age of 5, I was down my local club, Rumney, and it's produced Steve Ford, Lloyd White, who played rugby league for Wales. So, yeah, I grew up with rugby union, really appreciate it. It did a lot for me. But rugby league was always around me. Like Steve Ford was down there coaching. I watched Lloyd go and play for Wales, went up to Widnes, didn't he? So yeah, in the community, it was always there. And then went to uni, started playing rugby league just before that, played it in uni.
Which uni was it?
Swansea.
Right.
Yeah, down in Swansea. So played a bit in Wales as well. And then finished uni and then did my teaching degree and did that in Worcester. And then obviously, having played league, got the bug, looked for local teams, married my wife in Worcester, lived there for the last 10 years, moved back to Cardiff now, and then obviously came across Matty, and one thing leads to another, and all of a sudden, you know, we played at Cheltenham together, didn't we? Cheltenham Phoenix.
How could I forget that? That was a great summer.
We've done a tour of the clubs before we started our own club, because, you know, necessity, we didn't want to travel 45 minutes every week, really, did we?
That was the only con of Cheltenham.
Really good club, but
club,
yeah, 45 minutes each way, and then just wanted to do our own thing, didn't we? And
Definitely.
But yeah, rugby union background, and it is, to be honest, I'm glad of that, because it has told me how they wanted to be treated. You know, where Rumney is in Cardiff, they've got so many pitches, loads of pitches, and there's hundreds of kids there every Sunday, but they rent out to football. There's a big skate park down there, so they've got their clients.
Yeah.
And it's taught me, you know, when you're a client or you're the supplier, you have to treat one another in a very similar way. So we've not gone banging doors down, demanding stuff. You know, we've been quite honest and polite about it. So yeah, it's done us good.
Yeah. I think my biggest claim to fame was Sheffield, actually. I just remembered. I think Kane, his name was my coach. He coached Netherlands.
Kane Curley.
Yeah, I still follow him on Twitter.
Yeah.
There's a everyone always has a name, don't they?
Yeah.
And then for Earls, I played with D. Foggin Johnson.
Oh yeah, we met with him, didn't we?
I mean,
Previous guest of the show.
Yeah, I think played with him strong. He was unreal, which I wasn't.
You watched him, didn't you?
Yeah, he's got a different level of speed, hasn't he?
He was unreal from even at a young age. You could tell he was going to be something different. But that Earls team was full of people like that, just some unbelievable ballers. And
that's where you find the best talent.
I could just put my cigar and slippers on and watch them play and pretend that I played for them.
Guys, I think we haven't asked you quite an important question. We usually ask all the guests at the start, who do you actually support? Professional game?
I was a bit thick growing up as a kid.
All right, okay.
And coming from a football family, Leeds United obsessed, but I never realised that Leeds Rhinos were a team.
Nah.
So the first team that I ever watched was Huddersfield, and ever since then I've stuck with Huddersfield.
You had a cowbell for Christmas.
So we've got a story about
Town.
Yeah, bearing in mind I was born in 97, so as you can imagine, when I started playing rugby around 10, 11, 12, that's when Sinfield, Burrow and Maguire were running riot, and there's this poor old twat. Luckily at the time we had Brough, Crabtree them time, but now I'm kind of regretting that.
First jersey I had was a Warrington jersey, Lee Breers, being Welsh as such. Inspired me a bit, but just a fan of the game. I wouldn't say I'm die-hard Warrington. If they're on, I'll watch them and I'll want them to win. But
I collect shirts as well. I just love rugby league.
Just give it to me in any form. I'd watch the Serbian second division if I had to. You know?
Yeah,
doesn't bother me.
What's your favourite shirt, Matt? You got
Shall I go? I'll go.
Yeah.
The Welsh one in the 2000 World Cup. You know, the one with
Yeah,
the flag on it.
Yeah.
And we had like Yeston Harris, Lee Briers.
Oh yeah.
Anthony Sullivan.
Yeah.
Brilliant,
Yeah.
iconic. And we took the Aussies all the way, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's mine.
The first real memory I have watching rugby league was with my granddad. Was the 2006 Test series. You know the
Great Britain.
Great Britain.
Yeah.
You know the one where Jamie Peacock put Mason on his arse.
Yeah.
So that's
With a Gillette.
Yeah, that's my top shirt.
Yeah, fantastic. Good jersey. Yeah, Wigan JJB.
Yeah, that's
That
a
era, that's
classic.
a good-
isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a classic. And then I
That's
love
plenty.
some of the Bulls ones as well.
Yeah.
With
JCT 600.
Yeah.
The Vinakulu.
They had some
Bullmania.
bangers. Leeds Rhinos. They've. I can't remember Leeds ever having a bad home kit.
Nah.
Huddersfield, we've done some corkers over the time. I think the team that I think does the best home kit consistently is
Worcester Rebels.
Oh, no,
Sorry.
well, other than Worcester Rebels, probably Hull FC.
Yeah, it's hard to get
Yeah.
a whole FC kit wrong, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Do you think-
It is what it is.
There's sevens all the way out there.
Well, because it was nothing radical, was it? It was like you say, it was black and white hoops, and that's.
I guess
Do you know
what
the one that disappointed me? I think they've got two fantastic kits. London have got two brilliant kits, but they dilly-dallied with a sponsor, didn't they?
Yeah.
If they got
Yeah.
that sorted early in the bag
Yeah.
and had those ready for Christmas, they would sell like hotcakes. They would.
I think I have a soft spot for Hull FC as well because I have a soft spot for Newcastle in the football. So I think it's that black and white thing.
Yeah.
I
You
don't know
need a soft spot for LFC.
Yeah,
You do at the moment, like-
definitely at the minute, mate.
But I'd say Hull K are probably the best in Super League at the moment, jersey-wise.
Yeah.
For me, it's a smart kit. That.
That
Yeah.
car
Yeah.
sales,
Yeah. Yeah, smart.
It's just red and white.
It's smart though. It's smart.
You could say that
East
about
Hull,
any kit,
It's the
though,
smartest
couldn't
thing in East Hull. That is. So.
Lads, what other challenges have you got with, like, at the minute in the run up to the season? What, you know, if someone's listening to this and you're like, you know what, I'll just throw out a message for a bit of help or something, what would it be?
Biggest pain in my arse at the minute is that bloody Papa John's Cup that they're doing in Union.
Oh yeah.
Fucking hellfire. Why do they...
as in finishing later.
Yeah, bloody hell. Union will be going on 12 months at this rate, won't it?
And from what I heard, last year's Papa John's Pizza Cup was an absolute farce.
Well, to be fair, I'm biased because I was with Worcester at the time and we got pumped 57-0 by Littleworth. So to say that I ordered a Domino's that night. But I think the biggest challenge is just working with the union clubs at the minute now that they have extended the season. Like I think even like the Staffordshire Compton boys, I think they mentioned it the other week that they're thinking like, I think they've not even entered the Papa John's Cup now because of how long it's running.
No.
There's a case for player welfare, isn't there?
Yeah.
You know, like we'd love our boys to play legal summer and union all winter, but you got to have a break at some
And
point.
I think
haven't
that's
you?
why we deliberately made sure that our first game, is it the 18th of May or the
pushed it.
We've got Quantums at home at 18th of May now, and we did that deliberately because
Yeah.
we heard whispers around January that they were going to piss around with Papa John's Cup or whatever it is. So we thought, you know what, let's just make it as late as possible just to give ourselves the best chance.
Right, I'm probably talking politics here. Well, I am 100% talking politics here. But do you think this Pizza Cup's come about to combat the league season? Yeah.
The problem that I found, I've played Union now since 2022, is that it's just such a bizarre structure to the league. Like this year, we started September 1st or 2nd. You ended up having 5 games in September. But then you had 2 in October, then 3 in November, and then they scheduled 4 for December. But it's like, what are you fucking playing at? Do you live in the Midlands? You've got more
Do you live in
chance.
Britain?
Yeah, exactly. You have more chance of having the swimming Olympics in Worcester than you do rugby in December. So then by time, everyone's rushing. Like I'm at Malvern now, and they've got a game this Saturday because they've postponements. And then they've got a game on the 6th, and then they've got another game and another game and another game. And I just think if there was a little bit more common sense and they didn't heavily programme December and January, you'd have the season done by March.
Yeah.
So then you'd be able to do the Papa John's Cup without anyone moaning because one, the die-hard Union lads are ready for a rest anyway, and 2, for the lads that like us that are on the fringes of playing League and Union, we wouldn't have to be picking and choosing between each other. But that's my honest opinion, is that they programme the season too heavily in December and January.
Yeah. And it just goes
Catch
on.
up
and
at
it-
the
Yeah, because how many games... Like
So that common sense, isn't it?
in 2-3 years of playing Union, I think I played 1 game in January and December. Because
Yeah.
of postponements. You can't help it.
Or
can you?
frozen pitches, flooding,
Yeah.
poor weather.
Something like that, yeah.
You can canoe across Bridge North Pitch, can't you?
Shocking, yeah.
in winter.
Yeah, exactly. So that would be my suggestion. Just don't heavily program December and January. Do, kind of like have a bit of a sprint between September and October. Like 5 games in September, 4 in October. By October, you've done 9 games then, and then you're not in such a rush to get this season over and done with.
Lads, who's washing your kit this year? Because obviously you've got the white. This is obviously a talking point, is it?
Well,
Home kit's black though, isn't it?
We've moved on from the white. It's black now.
Yeah.
The white is somewhere, but I think black will be our kit now.
White's going to be our away kit, isn't it? Should we have a
You
clash?
can't call it white
But
anymore.
to be fair, D-pins are green,
Yeah.
Quantum's are yellow.
Yeah. Ravens.
Ravens we might clash a little bit.
It was a nice kit, but then I remember someone on Twitter just randomly replied to us and said, "What on earth are you doing?" And I don't know who that person was, but well done them.
Yeah.
So the white may come out again, probably not.
I did try wash it.
Yeah, I tried. I think about 4 people have tried washing it, and it's brown.
So I just want to, in establishing this club, and it sounds to me like you've got very passionate people that are working really hard to make this work, and that's incredible. What are you doing to kind of build like a history, a culture, or to create something that your players can kind of hang on to and use that as an like to identify as a rebel?
Good question. We've done a couple of things, haven't we? The socks is one thing.
Yeah.
It's holding on to your past, but also it's us.
Can I just
Something we
ask
do.
you something?
Yeah.
Do you know the multicoloured socks thing?
Yeah.
Is there anything in the RFL?
Don't say that.
Should we just gloss over that?
Yeah. I'm too thick to read the rule book.
I'm not reading that. No referee has pulled us up on it.
Yeah.
Do you remember the French lad who used to play without socks, by the way?
No.
Saïd Tamgart played for Catalan and then Halifax, and he never wore socks.
Oh yeah.
So maybe there's
him.
Google him and you'll see he just wears boots.
Well, Sean Edwards used to cut the arms off his shirt.
Yeah, he
didn't
did.
Yeah.
And I've heard that like George Williams don't fasten his shoelaces.
Yeah, no,
Apparently when he was down at Canberra, he was like running around, no
well,
laces up. You know what I mean?
Let's hope there's no rule in the rule book.
I guess,
We better order some black socks.
I have my strengths as a chairman.
that question
but
out.
But yeah, on the way up, we were talking about, like, it sounds cheesy, but heritage numbers.
Yeah,
And just stuff
yeah.
like that. The first 12 boys who played, 13 boys who played for us, they're 1 to 13.
Well, the thing with that is because you're a new club, you can get in early, can't
Exactly.
you? You can actually start that rather than in 15,
Having to go back through
15 years' time, someone goes, let's do heritage numbers.
And you've just been updating the website, haven't you?
Yeah.
Just making sure, match reports are on there and photos are on there. So we've got a digital history already, without having a history book.
Yeah.
We've got digital history. You can look back in 20 years and go,
And then-
I remember when I played in that game.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, we spoke about the raffles, but, we're trying to get something in for the Rugby League Challenge Cup final. It's 1st of June. I think it's a bank holiday Saturday. Just get some people down to Droitwich Rugby Club, watch the game, maybe play a bit of pool for the lads that drink, have a few beers.
Yeah.
And
So that's the other thing we realised, isn't it? The club's not just for us. There's people in their 50s, 60s, 70s in Worcester who are rugby league fans.
Yeah.
And other than watching it on TV on their own in the living room, feeling quite lonely.
How have you
on.
kind of got in touch with them or tracked them down? Are they
big one's Facebook, isn't it?
Yeah, Facebook, just knowing we exist and,
Yeah.
and posting up, next fixture, next Saturday, this is where we're playing, this is who we're playing against. And first home game, we had a fair crowd, didn't we?
I think we had 96.
96
What
people.
did you think when
Bloody hell.
everyone all empty?
It was the hottest day of the year.
I nearly
Yeah.
pissed
The
me
bar was
pants.
open.
Yeah, but you did.
I did my laces up.
I felt like the Rock Hogan at WrestleMania.
No, it was great, and you could hear different accents. I could hear a Wigan accent. There were Midlands accents. There were Bucky's family were up from Wales.
Yeah.
It just felt like you could go to any old football game, couldn't you? There's rugby union clubs all over the place, but a rugby league club is going to just attract people on a hot day. Beers flowing. It wasn't a great game, was it? There was knock-on-a-thon, but they enjoyed it.
Well, it was an heat wave weather as well.
It was a
But
heat
that
wave
was
as
that
well.
was one of the things Droitwich clocked onto very quickly was, obviously it's only 96 people, it's not Wembley, is it? But for Rugby League, that's actually a decent number, and they asked us...
96 people spending money over bar.
Well, that's what Droitwich said. They said,
Exactly.
if you can try and get 8 games this year, but try and get as many home games as possible,
Yeah.
And I was like, well,
And there's probably
I'll feed the masses. If you want home games, I'll give them to you.
There's probably a kid in that crowd who wants to have a go.
100%.
In 10 years' time.
Yeah,
so.
or even a father that's got a couple
it.
of kids.
Yeah.
That's like, you know, I'm
Yeah.
open.
Well, I remember a training session once, and we shit ourselves, didn't we? Because we weren't in the good books at Worcester for whatever reason. We didn't do a lot wrong, but we weren't in the good books. And we were training along, 16, 17 of us training, and all of a sudden, this bloke started walking towards us, and I'm thinking,
I remember this now, yeah.
And he had his kids in tow, and they looked like he was angry, and I was thinking, oh, fuck, what have we done? What have we done wrong here? And he came over, and I said, Matty, I'm going to have a chat with him. Because I knew you'd hit the roof, so diplomatic. I was like, I said, oh, you're right, mate. We're meant to be here. We've booked it, so on and so forth. He went, oh no, my daughter watches Rugby League, and she wanted to just come over and have a look what it was like in the flesh.
Oh,
I thought,
nice.
yeah, crack on, mate. Yeah, carry on.
We honestly could not believe it.
Yeah. I thought we were in for a bollocking.
Yeah, and that's why I got irate. I thought,
Yeah.
oh, fucking hell, here we go again.
They're out there though. The Rugby League fans are out there all over the country.
Yeah.
But it's
And they're not just Northerners.
I
They're
think
not
that,
just
that
Northerners.
attitude there of like, thinking, what's going to go wrong here? Sometimes I think there's other clubs that don't post on social media and don't do that press release or encourage, fans to come down.
It's the
But
easiest
I think
thing we do.
Yeah, I think if we can do that more, we can.
Absolutely.
They're out there, like Karl
The thing
said.
is, every team's got a kid who loves Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, whatever. Just use it.
I spent 2.5 hours doing the pitch hero today from last year and then updating it this year. Because one thing I love from the RFU, what they do, is every time I play a game that's in a league game, I can click on my name and I can see the past.
Yeah.
And I always think to myself, oh, it's so good that I can see my stats.
Yeah, RFL do that.
They do.
On the Our League app. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Which is why the team sheet has to be signed off.
I didn't know that, but... So I spent time today with Pitcher and making sure that everyone got their appearances, who scored tries, who scored conversions, who was the man of the match. So they've got somewhere to go and look.
Yeah.
And then...
But again, culture, history,
Yeah.
And then hopefully someone just types in Worcester Rugby League, Rebels comes up, and they see a website that's
Up to
all
date.
right.
Yeah.
And they think, oh...
Because you come across some websites that haven't been touched since 2022.
Yeah.
And you get Twitter pages, don't you? Some clubs have got 7 Twitter pages because you keep losing the password.
Oh, mate, yeah.
But, again, as a committee...
I've been there and done it.
Yeah. But you made sure when you set up the club email address, you sent a screenshot of the password to all of us.
Yeah.
So if he loses it, I haven't. If I lose it, he hasn't. And again, it's just organised. Just being organised and
little
it's gone a
basics,
long way.
but like I said, it's the basics.
But do it
done
properly.
well.
Do it properly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We try our best anyway.
Oh, we do. We're not here. I hope nobody's watching going, oh, let's be like them. We make mistakes. We've made a few last year, didn't we?
Well,
you know what? Go into those mistakes because there might be a new club looking to start.
Yeah, we threatened to knock it on the head, didn't we, in week 3?
I bet you did, yeah.
Yeah, because
we were meant to play you guys.
That
And
was it,
we had 7, 8 players available. And we both panicked a bit, didn't we? It wasn't the look we were after, and that's it's naive of us.
So then the week after we had Ravens, and we only had 9 available, but there was...
We just made a decision.
I think it was Aaron Middleton, one of the sponsors, MMS Clean, and he was like, why don't we just turn up at 9 and see what happens?
Yeah. His exact words were, the best publicity you're going to get is playing a game.
Yeah.
So we went up there, we played, and then lo and behold, that week our kit got delivered. So we plastered our kit all over Facebook, and suddenly we looked legitimate. And that training session, we had 22, 23.
Yeah, and then the next home game, we had 23 players. Yeah. We ended up having to give some to Ravens because we just didn't have enough.
Yeah,
so is the lesson there then kind of like almost trust the process, and sometimes you've got to back yourself and just fucking go for it.
Well, you know what, I was just about to say that. We at the seminar we went to the other week, we had a speech by Ed Clancy, triple gold medalist, and that's what we ended on with. He went, you've just got to fucking go for it. Yeah. And it sounds like you just fucking went for it.
The thing is, you never know who's going to turn up, do you?
No.
And the first couple of training sessions, 7, 8, 9, 10 of us, but a couple of weeks later, a new kid turned up. And we go, so something's clearly happening here.
Yeah.
And then he said, I work with a lad who's keen to play. Oh, mate, get him down. And then a week later, he comes down, and then someone's gone to work and has said, what did you do yesterday? I played Rugby League. Oh, my son wants to do that. If we didn't put training on, that wouldn't happen. That domino effect.
I think if I can speak to any chairman as well, it would just be try and put your ego aside. I can honestly, I'll put my hands up and say the only reason I could cancel that Telford fixture was ego.
Yeah.
I didn't want you lot coming down here to Worcester and we only had 9 players and we looked like dog and duck. But luckily,
it worked.
I surrounded myself with good people on the committee that talked me into going up to New Ravens with only 9 players, and it's fucking snowballed. But that I can honestly say, as long as there's an hole in my arse, Worcester Rebels wouldn't be in the position it is now if it had gone from my decision making. Because I cancelled Telford for ego. I'd have cancelled the Ravens.
And before you know it, you've got interested boys who've had 2 cancelled fixtures and now saying, "Oh, I'll have a break. I'm going on holiday." But it's as you say, that's where Worcester Jaguars failed, because ego drove everything. You couldn't get a say. There were some of us who were involved in the sport. Stuart Hood was a goalkeeper. He'd never touched a rugby ball. So
did Worcester Jaguars ever play a game?
Yeah, they were in the West of England League for the 2021 season.
I've heard about this club, but
we played.
That's Jaguars, that mate. You never see the Jaguars.
Never see a Jaguar.
But they're there.
Played Swindon at home, and that it was close. I think they beat us by 12, 14 maybe, and then we played Leamington away and we won that. But we took a good squad there. And I think that may have been it. Oh no, we played University Old Boys.
And you played the All Golds as well. And the by 4.
We took the All Golds to 4.
And 9 years later, we're going to be in Super League.
well, to talk about the
Jaguars, we had a link with Cronulla, didn't we? So.
The biggest thing I can tell you about Worcester Jaguars is their motto was, "Are you ready to fly?"
And if you
Jaguars,
if you could
Jaguars,
if you could play bingo in our WhatsApp chat every week, you guarantee "Are you ready to fly?" is popping up every week.
Hustle, hit, and
never quit. Yeah. So if one of the boys goes, "Tough day at work today," we just go, "Hustle, hit, and never quit."
Swear
and
to God.
Half the boys never even knew the Jaguars, so they're sat there thinking, "What the fuck are these on about?" But to us, it's hilarious
because he's deleted all the Facebook accounts, so we look like we're just talking shit. I wish we had a time warp and we could go back to that time.
So hopefully you've heard how to start a rugby league club and how not to start a rugby league club.
But I am happy, to be honest. In the early days when we were only have 6 training and then we only had the 8 for Telford, I completely shit myself ego wise. But like you say, go for it, but be humble as well. If you have to only have 10 players turn up, just make sure you play it. That's what I said to George when he rung me about playing Worcester versus Deep in Ducks. I said, if you only bring 10, that's fine. We normally get a few good numbers for players, and if we need to chuck you some, just bring some extra.
And if we have to turn it into a 9-a-side game, that could be somebody's first game of rugby league. And we gave, I think, 20 players their first game of rugby league last year.
Absolutely.
Great. Wonderful. That's 20 more players who've played this game.
Is there anyone in your squad now that you're really excited to see play this year?
Yeah. Go on. Do you want to name a name and I'll do a name? Or do you want me to start?
I mean, the lucky thing is the core group of lads that the buy-in. They are good players. Like we've got Callum Spires who plays for. I think is it Union. He plays for the England Fire Service.
He's a good boy.
He's a good boy. He's our top try scorer ever as well. He's scored 5. He's a good player. Lawley is another good player. He's an half-back that can play loose forward. Middleton, when he's, the story with Middleton is I started at half-back against Quantums away last year and I think it was 5 minutes in, I put in a grubber trying to trap them in to get a set restart. Mids comes over in his South African accent. What the fuck are you doing, mate? We should have played it. So I was like, you know what, Mids, I'm not in the mood to argue with you.
This is a lad who played Worcester Warriors Academy, so you just let him have it.
So I swapped with him. I went to centre and he played at half-back, and obviously we won 46-10. So I have never lived that day down. And he's going to be happy. If he listens to this, he'll be happy I mentioned that, because he'll always tell you he's always right, isn't
it? You've named a lot of our they're our rugby league boys. We got Sam Buckford's played junior international for Wales as well. He's a good boy. And
Sean Roberts
at Bears. But we've got Harry Mayle. He's 18, 19, and he's a centre. First year of rugby league last year. Came down with his mate. Didn't know anyone. To do that at 18. Show some balls, and what a player. He'll run at anything, tackle anything. Matty will tell you a story about an away game in a minute. But I think the nice story, when Jags existed, they had the academy, didn't they? And there were 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, some quality talent there that was lost to the game because of the drama that ensued. One of those has now come back. And I remember saying to his dad, look, if he sticks with this, he could do something.
Yeah.
If he goes to the right university, Northumbria, Leeds, Beckett, whatever,
Loughborough.
he could play League One.
Yeah.
And I'll put my hat on that. He could play League One, no issue. So, and he's back this year, so...
Windows and doors as well.
Windows and
Our main
doors.
sport.
That's our main sponsor.
Yeah,
We call
All
it
right.
Windows.
I thought he played second row.
No, he does actually play second row as well. I tell you what, he only played his first rugby league game last year. But
Scored twice, didn't he, on his debut?
you'd have thought he was from the fucking 4-0 or something. Oh, what a twat he is.
Came from football as well. Footballer.
He belts you like Mike Tyson in a tackle.
Yeah.
And he runs even harder.
Yeah.
And he got absolutely creamed in a tackle at Quantum's away. And I was just watching him. I thought, oh fuck, he might lose his head here. He just fucking got up, looked at the fella, laughed in his face, and then played ball. I thought, you're a fucking psychopath.
Yeah.
But I'm all for it, and I cannot wait to play with
Yeah.
Ash this year.
Yeah,
Ash
good
Smith.
point. But there's so many names we haven't mentioned. They all mean something to us, don't they? And without them, we don't have a team. So all of them.
We've got
Excited
two
for all
brothers called the Amos brothers.
Brilliant.
They one of them scored an hat-trick at Quantum
Do you know?
last year.
Do you know our first ever try scorer? You heard the story?
No.
Oh, of course, yeah. Sorry, I always forget
It's
this.
from Finland.
Oh, really?
And I've asked a few people in rugby league: has there ever been a Finnish try scorer in Britain?
Don't know.
Nobody's. Curtis Sirenen's got a Finnish granddad,
Right.
but that doesn't really.
So you
count,
have
does
got
it?
into it. Yeah.
But that's it.
Yeah, Liban.
So I think he might be the first ever Finn
Well, I tell you,
to score a
we
try.
might know someone who knows. I bet Kev Rudd knows.
Kevin Rudd.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Possibly.
He would,
Works
yeah.
at European Rugby League, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Everywhere.
He's worked everywhere.
Yeah, he'll
Even better,
Yeah.
Liban was our first ever try scorer ever.
ever.
So not only is he a
So-
Finnish try scorer, he's our first ever try scorer. as well.
So did you give him heritage number one or what?
We're probably,
Yeah, we might have to.
I was asking Alex how to do it in the car because obviously he's a bit smarter than me, and we didn't decide how to do it, but we'll probably do that.
Yeah.
We'll give Liban number one because
First
out of
ever
courtesy, yeah.
Worcester Rebels
never
try.
played rugby league ever. He was playing mixed ability rugby at Worcester, which is like semi-contact.
Yeah.
So for him to decide to come and play rugby league with us was
huge step, wasn't
me
it?
and Alex looked at each other being like, this could end in tears.
Yeah.
But
You worry, don't you?
It ended
But
in tears, but good tears.
he's great. He's a good boy.
Remarkable fella, and even better.
Just so
goal.
keen to learn as well.
Yeah.
Lads, I think it's really important that you kind of we spend a bit of time and recognise the assistance you've had with Droitwich.
Yeah.
Okay, because obviously without a solid base,
You're nothing.
you're pissing in the wind. What have they done for you? What does it mean for you to be playing at
I think
Droitwich?
Craig Brown's been willing to just become one of us.
Yeah.
In title, he's only an advisor, but he's so much more than that.
He sees things from our eyes,
Yeah.
which allows us to see things from his eyes. They're fine, Droitwich. They've got a really good clubhouse. They've got their own grounds, whereas we've got 18 jerseys and no socks.
Save money, though.
Yeah. So we need to lean on him more than he needs to lean on us, but he doesn't treat us that way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
credit to him.
You wouldn't think that we need him more than he needs us.
Yeah, he's
And
equal.
Any question we have about financing, about things, because one big thing that we have is we don't charge subs. The only thing we charge is, that 15 quid you have to give to RFL every year.
Yeah.
Because one of our sponsors, Aaron Middleton, decided to pay for the venue for us.
So that's because that's paid up front. That's allowed you.
Yeah, that's
you
allowed
not have
us
to pay subs.
Yeah,
Right, okay.
so and he was one of the people that suggested that, being like, well, why don't you just make people pay the RFL membership, and then if people want to make donations, so for example, I think the other week we put in the chat we might need some new balls. If anyone wants to chuck us a fiver, you'd be more than happy to, we'd be more than happy to take it. And a couple of people sent us a couple of fivers.
Yeah.
As you would.
Yeah.
I think the best thing Droitwich have done for us, and clubs we've dealt with in the past, when we've kind of approached them and said, look, this is us, we need a pitch, we'd like a pitch, and if you could help us, great. It's always been over email, and they've sent us these 5-page long letters of their terms,
been
and
there. Yeah.
their terms and conditions, and you realise you're treading on eggshells from the off. You're the unwanted guest who happens to be paying the money. Credit to Droitwich, they said, come up and sit around a table with us.
Yeah.
And they were asking us about 5-year plan,
Yeah.
10 years plan, stuff like that. And
But the best thing they asked us is, what money have you got? And we almost fell off our chair, didn't we? And I loaded up. I went on, we've got a club account, and I went on the banking app and I went, 400 quid. And he went, all right, okay. He just did some numbers. And he gave us a deal that worked for us.
Yeah.
And credit to him. Whereas before, we were given a number and we were scratching our
And
eyes.
I think he likes how honest we are, because when we mentioned the number to him at first, he gave us a look of, you're bullshitting me.
Yeah.
He loads up the club account, we ain't bullshitting you, son.
Yeah. This is
And
us.
I think that's that's been a marriage made in heaven ever since. And for us as well, it was just so nice to hear Droitwich asking us about our 5-year plan.
Yeah.
Do we plan to have juniors? And I said, well, we said organically, if it happens, it happens. I'm not someone that's going to ever delve into junior coaching. It's just not my cup of tea.
We did say we want to join the NRL in 2030.
But it was nice to hear Craig say, well, if you ever wanted to do juniors, just make sure that it doesn't piss on our bonfire.
Absolutely.
And obviously we said, we'd only ever do it in the summer.
Yeah.
And it was just refreshing to hear a union club ask a league club, well, what are you going to be doing in 5 years' time? Why are we worth investing in you? And I thought, fucking hell, it shocked me a bit. Took me a minute to answer him, and then we did. Like with
No brainer.
5 years' time, we do dream about, going against you lads, Telford and the Birmingham Bulldogs and Outlaws of the world, but that's in 5 years' time, and if we get there.
Yeah.
If we don't, we're not going to pack up shop and say we failed. No. It's just something that me and Paynter want to do, and a few of the other lads, we want to...
But it's organic, isn't it? And that's the word you used. It's, if it happens, it happens. And we'll know when it's about to happen.
Yeah.
We'll know it's time. So...
Yeah.
And we know that time's not now, hence why we went into the plate competition at the Nines.
Yeah. Anything that we should have asked you that you want to kind of get across?
Anyone out there in the Midlands, if they ever want to have a chat with us, swap notes... We're not going to be one of these clubs that, just because we're doing successful, that means fuck everyone else.
No, absolutely.
The only reason Worcester Rebels is successful is because we've got Quantums in the area. Yeah. We've got the Deeping Ducks. We've got the Royals there.
The Ravens. Cheltenham down the road.
Yeah, and we've also got the aspirations of you big dogs in the area. Hopefully one day we might be able to have a little arm wrestle with you lads as well. And it's only because you lads are in the area been doing good work for years that we've had the opportunity to come along in 2023 and make a club.
I think the other thing for me is I don't know where your viewers are spread out, but I imagine you get a lot of in the north, and Worcester's got a big university, and if you're a student doing your A-levels, come down. Good uni, and you've got a rugby league club on your doorstep.
Absolutely,
happy to accept you, because that's our one untapped area, isn't it? We don't quite know how to get into the uni, because I guarantee there's people who have played rugby league or want to play it ready for the taking.
Yeah.
Need to get them.
Because obviously with Stewart, he did such a great job setting up that, the academy thing.
Yeah.
It's one of our pipe dreams. It's not one of these, we're going to do it in 3 years. It is a pipe dream, but we do want to kind of replicate some sort of academy/uni team. Yeah. Whether it's kind of Lionel Hurst kind of model of all goals, where they had the uni team, then the big team, or whether it's Stewart's model of the academy, then the first team. We don't quite know yet, because obviously it's only us lads that are involved. But if there's anyone out there that's listening to this and thinks they want to volunteer with Rebels, anyone's welcome. We've got men and women on the committee. Yeah. We've hired Luke Haywood as an assistant coach this year, so we're not scared of having females involved in the men. It's not a man's world; it's everyone's world. Hopefully we might be able to put a women's team out one day as well. But for now, we've got a woman coaching the men's team. We're rebels in name, when we're rebels in nature. If it's the good of rugby league, we'll do fucking anything.
Absolutely.
Lads, you both sound incredibly, I won't say content with where you've got to with the Rebels. It feels like the club's in a really good place, and I can't wait to see how you progress this year. I know, you just got the ball rolling last year. It feels like you've gone up another level this year. I can't wait to see you at the Nines, and just really looking forward to see how your season goes and how the club continues to build. It's been great chatting to you.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. That's same from me. I've absolutely loved. It's been a while since I've had guests in the studio, and I was thinking, do we actually need to do that again? You two have completely, put that. I'm like, yes, we need more guests in the studio, on the show, because it's just been great chatting to you. That's the final whistle for this week's episode of the Rugby League Outsiders. We hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to follow us on social media and share this podcast with your friends. And as always, if you have a story to tell, a club to plug, or a player that deserves recognition, we want to hear from you. So until next time on the Rugby League Outsiders, take care.